All right, guys, so I just bought a new boat, and I wanted to show you guys kind of what I got before I got too far into the disassembly process or breaking down the things that I want to change about this boat. And so more or less what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna try to build a deck on it, and I'm gonna make a fishing / hunting boat out of this little 14-foot aluminum John boat that I bought. And more or less I traded an old deer hunting rifle that I had about $300 in for this boat, and I actually got a trailer. The trailer needs a new axle and an extra tire, but for about $300 I can't really complain. This boat seems to be in really good shape. Somebody had already taken the seats out, so I'm assuming that they had plans to build this thing or do something with it anyway. But I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of an overview. So here's my boat, and of course this piece of flooring is rotted out. I'm fixing to remove that. Transom has got to be removed and rebuilt. I'm going to go get some 3/4 inch marine grade plywood, maybe 1 inch marine grade plywood, not really sure. May just double up a piece depending on how thick that's supposed to be. I'm not really sure yet. This seat was on here. I've already taken the screws out so that I can pull this out. This little piece of a deck I've already removed, and I'm fixing to just start taking things off of it. I'm gonna strip it down to the bare minimum, and I'm gonna go back with some 6061 aluminum angle iron, and I'm gonna build a deck out to probably here off the front. Leave this space open, and then I'm gonna close in from here back and give myself a space to mount a motor. A little bit of damage here to the transom. It's just on this cap here. The welds have split on this cap, and I have a good friend of mine that has a TIG welder, and I'm gonna get him to take that back together if he can. If not, we may cut this section out here and here, buy another piece of aluminum channel, drop it in, and put new welds in. Just hadn't really decided exactly how I wanted to do that yet, but I'm fixing to start taking this deck out, removing these rivets here, hopefully where I can get this transom out. And I think 2 pieces of 3/4 stacked should be plenty. I'll glue them together, get that all sturdied up. But other than that, the boat's in pretty good shape. Where they had taken the seats out, they did a really good job of re-welding the holes back up. I mean, it just needs to be sanded out and repainted, and I think this thing's gonna make a heck of a hunting boat. So that's the goal anyway, is to turn this into as nice of a hunting and fishing boat as I can for what we have here anyway. And I think that it's gonna work out really well. I really do. I'm gonna build my deck up fairly good because I want to be able to have a little bit of walking room here, and I want the option of being able to stand and bow fish off of the boat here and have a little bit of a back deck here. So I might actually bring this deck up to this bottom rib. That way I've got a little bit of room to stand and possibly use it for bow fishing as well. Need to definitely get my supports back in because it's a little bit flimsy side to side without the seats in it. That took a lot of the rigidity out of this center section right here. But so yeah, it's a pretty neat little old boat for $300 roughly is what I've got in it and the trailer right now. I'm hoping a local trailer company's gonna be able to get me an axle for about $100, and I think tires are pretty cheap for that little trailer. I'm gonna try to have under $1,000 in this build. That's the goal, is under $1,000. I'll probably use a plywood deck instead of aluminum sheeting because the aluminum sheeting is so expensive. And I think a 3/4 marine grade plywood or I know it's going to add a lot of weight, but I'm also going to add foam to this boat. But I'm trying to stay under $1,000 on the total build of this thing and have this thing completely built out and ready for hunting season. So should be pretty interesting. I'll kind of keep you guys updated throughout the process, and I'll just show you my progress as I go. Well, alright guys, this video isn't exactly what I was expecting it to be. It's going to be more of a reveal video of the John boat, and I'll just do a walkthrough and tell you guys kind of what all I did and explain the features that I put into this boat. But unfortunately, I had my camera set up on a tripod and I did a time lapse. I'd say I filmed probably 70 or 80% of the process of building this thing. And unfortunately, I put my memory card in the computer, pulled up the files corrupt on my SD card. I tried everything I need to do to recover it. I'm not very new to video editing. I mean, I've been doing this for several years, and unfortunately I was not able to get that footage back. So instead of just scrapping the whole idea or taking the entire boat back apart, which I'm not doing, I'm going to just show you guys the completed product and then just kind of tell you guys and walk you through what all I did on this boat. There was a lot of cool things that I feel like really turned out really well, and I'm really pleased with it, but just hate that I didn't get the footage for you guys. Anyway, that's just part of it, I guess. Sometimes you film long enough, guys, I'm telling you, you're gonna lose some footage. A little bit of pulling the cover off. It's gonna look a lot different than the last time you guys saw it, the big green booger. Do a little flip around here. Here she is, guys. This is the finished product. So this is just a 14 foot, I think it's a 1436, but she turned out pretty clean. So basically, guys, I just started with the hull of the boat and went through and found anything that might have been a crack or possibly leaked, filled everything in really good, and made sure that she was completely watertight. Took a grinder with a wire wheel and went over the entire boat to take the paint, the original paint, some of that, knocked some of that down, and went back with this. This is a Rust-Oleum truck bed liner. More or less, it's just a really textured, kind of sanded. It's got a really gritty feel, like what you'd feel in a truck bed. I mean, that's what it is, a truck bed liner. But painted the outside of the boat with the truck bed liner, and then got it all finished up. Rebuilt the transom was the next thing that I did. So the original owner had put some sort of almost like a particle board, like an OSB or something in here, and I actually went back with 3/4 inch marine grade plywood, laminated two pieces together, built the transom, cut everything out, and then I went back and I've got self-tapping screws through the aluminum here. There's lag bolts on the back side of the transom coming into it, and they're all water sealed with that E6000, I think is what it is, or 5500, whatever that adhesive is. And then I put a mounting plate in. I actually set this board a little bit too far back and built this hatch a little bigger than I probably should have, because it does kind of get in the way of your mounting screws on your motor. So everything is built with 2x3 framing, and I actually used untreated 2x3s, and I know some of y'all in the comments are going to be telling me how that was a terrible idea and it's going to rot and whatever. Anyway, untreated lumber is a lot lighter weight and it's cheaper. And what I actually did was, all of the framing, I went back with a I think it's Bondo is the brand, and it's a fiberglass resin, but more like a two-part epoxy. Mixed it and put it over all of the wood in this boat before I painted everything with that textured truck bed coating. So everything's been sealed with that fiberglass sealer, basically just epoxy coated, and it felt to me like it wasn't as much weight or as dense as like pressure treated lumber that you'd buy at Home Depot or something. I used 2x3s to save on a little bit of weight, and then I went back with this is 1/2 inch marine grade plywood on all the decking on the fronts, and then this is just a piece of sandy ply. It's a 1/4 inch thick. It's really thin stuff, but again, I put that Bondo resin on these and then painted over it with all that textured stuff. So hopefully that resin keeps it sealed. And I'm going to keep this boat under a cover at all times. One thing I did here, you can see I built, this is going to be rod storage. This is not finished yet. I'm going to actually run PVC and flute the ends of the PVC so that the rods slide in nicely and everything stays separate and organized. But the next thing I did after I built the casting deck, I decided I wanted to put some hatches, and I just simply cut out some little hatches. Nothing fancy about these. They're just pieces of plywood painted over, and then you can see some of the framing on the inside of this boat. But I need to come back and grind off the screw heads, little odd and end things here and there that still need to be done. These hatches are sturdy enough to stand on. I've walked all over these, but I didn't roll my carpet over the edges, and you know, I kind of went back and forth on how I wanted to do that. I actually did upholstery in a furniture factory for several years, so I can easily roll it. I did it on this back hatch, and I really like the way this turned out on this rear hatch, because it's almost like the hinges are kind of hidden. It's very sleek, but I didn't do that on this deck, and then I didn't like the way that it looked. But more or less what it was is I didn't want to run screws through the carpet to the framing, so I wanted to cover the screws up. So I wanted to screw the deck down and then put the carpet on it, but I didn't like the way that came finished at the edges. So what I did is I found this stuff here, which is literally, it's a 3/4 inch PVC angle. It's plastic, and it's, you know, it's just a piece of plastic, so it's 100% waterproof. You don't have to worry about it rotting or anything. And then I went back with self-tappers just into this rib where they don't actually protrude outside of the hull of the boat, and painted these black and put these in to cover the edges of my carpet so I didn't catch any snags or anything. And this turned out really sleek. It looks nice on both sides. I was able to take a piece and finish off this unfinished edge right here at the front. Turned out really, really nice. I like how this looks. I'm probably going to fill these gaps with a little bit of silicone and then just hand paint my corners here. But either way, you can see the storage on the other side too. Got my life vest in there. Either way, it turned out fine. This was a Facebook Marketplace find. I paid $100 for this trolling motor, and it's the all-terrain model, and it does a very, very good job. It had an issue. The head of the motor's cracked and the indicator knob is gone, and I actually ordered a brand new one of these for like $50, I think, on Amazon, and I paid, so basically I'll have $150 in the whole motor set up. I did run my wiring through the decking, and then I wired in these two, I don't know when these to be tightened, but wired in these two LED lights off of the front. And I'm gonna actually bring this up, and I've got a spot for a zip tie to go through right here and hold that up out of the way. But those are super, super bright lights. And then again, truck bed liner all the way down. You can see I kind of dinged up the front when I went to mount the trolling motor, and scuffed a spot here on my board that I made to mount the trolling motor. All kinds of little things that get messed up along the way, but the truck bed liner all the way down, and then coming back more to the back of the boat here. So I've got my panel wired in here. Everything runs to the battery, which sits back in this back compartment back here. And yeah, I just hook a wire up. The only thing that's wired in right now is those lights. I'm gonna put a all-around pole light right in the back corner, and then I'll run my fish finder somewhere. I'm probably gonna run it up on the front deck. Not really sure exactly where I want to put that. So this I did the same way as the front deck. I cut the carpet to match the edges. I did not roll it over, and one of the main reasons is I just want to be able to peel this carpet off and put new on easier if it's ever, you know, starts to degrade at any level. Because I mean, this stuff's super, super cheap. I think I paid $56 for all of the outdoor carpet that is in this boat. And then I think the bottle of, or the gallon of glue that I used was maybe $30. So I got roughly $85 to $90 in the carpet and glue. But I left this, like I said, where I can peel it off. But this board is not anchored down. I don't have it screwed down. The main reason being is that I'm not done wiring all the lighting and things that I'm going to add to this boat, and I just wanted this to be removable, where I can take it in and out and run my wiring underneath the ribs of the boat in the hull, so that everything is hidden and completely clean. So moving back here, this one I did traditionally. I rolled it. This is just the gap that comes with the boat being slightly wider than the 4 foot of the plywood that I bought. But I rolled this and glued everything, and then just anchored through the top. And honestly, I really do like how this turned out. I've kind of kicked myself for doing all the trim and stuff on the front, because that was a major headache. But this turned out really nice. The transom rebuild worked out super well. And then I've got 2 hinges. These still need to be ground off with a grinder, and you can see everything is very neatly dressed on all of my glue and stuff. Like I said, I did upholstery for a lot of years, and I actually am a flooring installer. That's what I do for a living now. I own a flooring business, so I do know how to do carpet. It's just a matter of I just didn't. I don't know why, but I didn't. Anyway, coming back here, you got your gas tank. I left line for my hose, room for my hoses to come up through while the hatches are still closed. Batteries in here. I hook this up, and that hots my wiring box. And then this is to the trolley motor, and the trolley motor has a switch that will allow it to pull or not to pull. This wiring is 14 gauge, and it's 14 stranded. It comes on a roll with the black and red like that. So you got your hot and your negative. And I think a 100-foot roll of that on Amazon was $17, so considerably cheaper than anything that you would get in a store. And of course, everything is running to that control panel, and the control panel has fuses, so I'm not worried about anything, overheating or getting too much power or too much voltage to it. So pretty much that is the extent of it. Back here on the back, I have my little Johnson 9.5 Seahorse, and this little motor is a good running little motor. It really is. I actually bought a boat just to get this motor, because these are really lightweight. I don't think they weigh but like 60 pounds, but they'll push this boat somewhere around 15 miles an hour, 15 to 20 miles an hour with 2 people, and throw it up on plane pretty easy. So it's really nice. I like that little motor, and I ended up with another boat. So buying the other boat brings me to my next point. Since I lost all the footage of this current build that I'm showing you guys right now, I have another boat, and here it is. I have another 14-foot aluminum john boat, and it came, like I said, I bought this boat specifically to get that motor and the trailer. And then I have another trailer that I'm going to fix up and put with this boat. And more or less what I'm going to do with this boat, this is going to be one that I'm going to pretty much flip to sell. I'm going to build this one out custom and see what all I can come up with. I got some pretty neat ideas for space on this boat. The only thing about this boat is it has a bench seat right in the middle, which kind of causes some issues with the layout of how I want to do things. But I will try to film this whole process and let you guys see. This boat, you can tell, has been rhino lined already. Somebody rebuilt the transom. I don't like the way that turned out. I'm probably going to sand that down and paint it though, because everything is sturdy and stable. It's just kind of ugly. Most of that's going to be hidden when I build the decks anyway, so I'm not overly concerned. Like I said, they did do a truck bed liner on this. This is actually like rhino line, like spray-in liner. And you can see a part of the trailer that I bought broke off. I'm gonna have to weld that on, fabricate some parts for that, and work with it. But oh yeah, the lights that I put on the other boat actually came off of this boat as well. Did have a trolley motor with it. I have no use for this trolley motor at this time, but I am going to build the decking and everything in this boat, so maybe it's one of the things that I end up using in the first place. I might try to take this middle seat out But who knows? I'm not going to go into too much detail on this boat because this is something that is going to be for future videos. So hopefully you guys enjoy this content, and I'm going to continue to work on these little boats because I've had a really good time building this one, and I think that it turned out pretty slick. I mean, I really have no complaints about the things that I did other than the carpet on that front deck. I kind of wish that I had went ahead and rolled it and made it cleaned up and just went ahead and ran the screws through the top, or I could have fastened it from underneath, but that's a very narrow spot to get into, really uncomfortable. Yeah, I just didn't really want to do that, to be honest with you. But pretty much, guys, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna get up here and walk around on it and show you guys just how sturdy and stable this casting deck is. It's amazing what you can do with a little bit of time and a little bit of effort on these John boats. They really can be pretty awesome little fishing vessels. So leave me a comment and tell me all the terrible things that I did and how screwed up it is and how it's going to fall apart and burn and crash, and I really don't care. So I'm gonna hop up in this boat and let you guys see the decks. So we got our main cabin deck. We are sturdy. And oh, can I stand on this? Yes, I can. Yes, I can walk on everything on this boat, no problem. There is absolutely zero flex in any of this. It's 100% stable. Look, now I've tracked mud in here just so I can show you guys, but I'm not gonna take my Crocs off because I don't want you guys to see my feet and sell them on the internet. So, look, hatches. Yes, you can walk on the hatches. Trolley motor mount. It's a pretty neat little boat. Hopefully there might be some bow fishing videos to come out of this little boat as well. That's one reason I built the casting deck so long. I want to be able to turn and shoot, and I like to bow fish. So alright guys, that's pretty much gonna be it. If you hadn't already, go ahead and hit that like button, the little thumbs up down in the corner down there. It just helps this channel grow, helps it recommend the video to other people. Subscribe and stay up to date with me on things that are to come, because I've got some pretty neat ideas in the works for this channel. And appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you in the next one.